And welcome to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we come to you every Wednesday to inspire, to encourage, and to empower you to live a fulfilling and blessed lifestyle. Excuse me. I'm Anna. I'm your host. I'm a retired school teacher. I'm an author. I'm an educational consultant, a jewelry consultant, and a health consultant. And I'm also a certified cake instructor. So I bring to you a wealth of knowledge and experience to our conversation. And so each episode, I try to delve into topics that are fulfilling, that will bring a wealth of knowledge to enrich your lives, from educational and personal development to health, wellness, and of course the art of jewelry making. So this is done. Sometimes I bring in speakers, sometimes I have workshops, sometimes I just give knowledge. So this time I guess I am just a collaboration of all of those things as well. So um, I want to thank you again for tuning in to Sweet Blessings, where every conversation is a treasure. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to start with my prayer. You know, I always have a prayer. And so this is my, since I'm doing the series on course 1, 2, and 3, the beginnings of cake decorating, I came up with a short welcome prayer that I would like to say before I begin. And after I do this, we will break for commercial and then we will come back. So it says, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of creativity and the joy of sharing it with others. Bless our hands as we learn and create. Guide our hearts to patience and excellence. And let this time together be filled with laughter, learning, and sweet connections. Amen. All right. We're going to break for that commercial, and we will be right back.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Well, welcome back, everyone, and welcome to lesson number 3 of our flowers and design. So in our first lesson, uh, we learned the basics. In lesson 2, we focused on royal icing and creating strong floral foundations in lesson 2. So today we're going to take things to the next level with dimensions. And we talked a little bit about dimensions last week when I was on. So we're going to continue. That's why this is called part 2, because it's really a lot to comprehend. Like I said, when you're dealing with royal icing, because you can do many things with royal icing, but you don't ice a cake with it. It's a decorative icing, seriously. So, if you did not get a chance, I ask that you all go to Bloom and Bake, which is my Facebook interest group, and you can watch the video. Somehow or another, I am still not able to download that video here for you to watch it on it, but I am able to download it on my group page as well as the other things. But if you really will, it's really very informative, and you kind of get the idea of where your position of your bag And all of those things are going. Plus, while you're there, you can kind of like or subscribe to that, to my Bloom and Bake page as well. Would be glad to have you. And it's a safe place. You know what I'm saying? It's a place where you can put your things if you have questions and everything. And we're all, we're just all human, including myself. I'm not, an expert. I went to classes. That's how I learned this. I'm passing on what I have learned to others, okay? Because I feel that you can do it, and if you want to do it, you can do it. I paid for this. I'm giving it. I mean, if you want to take my classes, you're going to have to pay. But these little snippets that I'm giving, it's enough to get you started if you really want to get started. And I'm hoping that you'll be interested enough to carry on and maybe take, one of my classes. I strongly urge to start out with decorating basic, which is the foundations of all of the cake decor. Each cake class is different, and it offers a different type of icing as you go along. So we're going to kind of get into that. So anyway, in this lesson, you're going to learn how to take those flat flowers. Remember, we talked about the drop flowers and the swerve flowers. Those are called flat flowers. So now we want to take those flowers and we want to add some dimension to those flowers. We want to make those flowers and give those flowers a little more detailing on that. So I'm going to bring up my presentation right now because I have an example of a flat flower and I don't know where, sorry y'all, wrong presentation there. But designing with dimension 2 from flat to fabulous. So on your, and I don't even know if that's your right, but it is on my right. I will point to it, put the cursive on it. This one here, these are flat flowers here on this cake here. Whereas these here are dimensional flowers, okay? And if you look here, you also see flat flowers here. And sometimes flat flowers can be used as fillers, okay? Fillers. And we're going to talk a little bit about fillers in this episode here as well, okay? So, got to look at my notes. Most of my notes, all right. So what it's really saying, or what I really want to say is that one of these looks pretty. Both of them look pretty, really and truly, but one of them tells a story. Okay, this one here, both of them to me tell a story, but this here is like a season. Could be spring. You see the bunny there, so you know it might be Easter or something like this. Whereas this here might be a birthday cake. It could be a wedding cake. It could be numerous things. This one here could be. It's all, all I'm saying. I don't really basically know. Okay, but this is a good example of a flat. This is flat. These are flat flowers. They're called drop flowers. And then these are dimensional flowers. And most of the time, your roses are your dimensional flowers. Your roses, your mums. And as you go along, and you'll learn how to make these different types of flowers. I will not do a demonstration of a rose on my podcast, but I might do a demonstration of a rose on my in my bake group, my Bloom and Bake, because it's a little more detail. And then this here is just a little snippets. It's supposed to be just a little snippets of what you could expect in my classes as we go along. Okay, let's move along. So, lessons goes in in working with royal icing. We learn how to layer petals for depth. okay? For instance, let me go back. I can go back to this. These are layered for depth. You see how they 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 tell a little story where these are just flat. It might be flowers in a field or something like this, but these have a little depth to them, and that's what they mean by that. So also we learned how to do coloring, okay? Because I talked about coloring last week, and if you watched that, the video on coloring, and I used the gel icing, you'll see the variations. And so you want to learn how to do that coloring. You want to learn how to blend and how to do the shadings, okay? You want to, because that shading is basically a monochromatic. So you want to learn that color wheel. And we talked about the color wheel and everything. And so also you want to add leaves. Remember we talked about leaves, and I'm telling you, I'm really suggesting that you go watch that the video of that me doing these different things, because I do make color. I do demonstrate the borders. I do demonstrate the leaves and all of those tips and those types of things like that. Sometimes it's very difficult because I only want to make this be 45 minutes to an hour on my podcast, so I don't have enough time to dedicate to all of those, little aspects. It's plus as well as tell you, kind of things of what's going on. That's why I have 4 classes. And they're 2 hours long because it's quite a bit, and it's detailed. It's quite a bit of things to do that. And we also talked about arranging the flowers, arranging them in a way that we talked about asymmetrical and symmetrical. So as always should be odd number flowers. And if I even go back to the first slide that I showed you, look at this. What is it? It's an odd number. Do you see that cluster? It's always going to be a cluster of an odd number, whether it's 3, 5, 7. And you'll see the larger clusters on like sheet cakes and things like things like that. So, why does dementia matter? Well, flat flowers are basic flowers. You know what I mean? They give you one look, one-dimensional look. Dimensional flowers, however, are realistic. They're lifelike. They're professional. Look at the ones in the picture. They're lifelike. None of them are the same. Each one of those flowers are different. Because that's where you're going to see it in nature. In nature, you are not going to see the same flower. If you go out there and look at the flowers, they're similar, but they're not the same. So that's why I always tell my clients and my students, your flowers should not be the same. They should be similar, but there should be some little differentiation in it. And if you look, all of those are similar, but there's some changes in that. And you can see that as opposed to the flat flower, which is up under it. That's a flat flower that is up under it. So this is a great example. So you want to visualize impact. Depth makes a difference, and you can see the depth here. You can see it. This is just flat up against the cake. It's beautiful. It's decorative, but it's not dimensional. These are what we call dimensional flowers because they look realistic. They look lifelike. They look professional. So keep that in mind. All right, let me look at my notes because you all know how I am. You know I always get I get ahead of my notes. Uh, oh, what I want to also tell you is when you are making your petals, don't be afraid to overlap your petals. Because when you overlap your petals, overlapping creates that natural, lifelike depth that we see in real flowers. So look at flowers. You know, I like flowers, so I'm an observer of flowers. I see a flower that I like. I don't really try to make it as a cake flower, but I will plant that flower and I'll have it in my, I'll have it in my garden. But there are certain flowers that I can make. I can make it cake out of cake icing, out of royal icing, out of fondant, out of gum paste. I can make those flowers and they look just as realistic. So as we get into the gum paste and fondant soon, not this week, maybe next week or the next week, I believe it's the next week after that, you will see, I will show you some of the flowers that I have made out of gum paste. Like I told you, some of these, and that is another icing. Fondant is an icing that you can cover a cake with. However, gum paste and fondant mix, you can make flowers with them. And sometimes on wedding cakes, you see those as opposed to buttercream icing or things like that. But we'll get into those type of things a little later on. Maybe, in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to do that. But let me see what I've left out in my notes, because like I told you, I always get a little ahead of myself. Okay. Using two tones of icing or dusting colors to shade the petals. Now, I did not uh, do too much of that, which I might demonstrate that in my next demo. But when I do the demos, I'm sorry, you all, but the demos will be in the Bloom and Bake because I cannot get them on here for some odd reason. I don't know whether they're too long. I don't understand it, but if you go there, you will be able to see that. Also, I did demonstrate going from light to dark gradient on with using a particular color. Now that is in the video that I just did. Um, but you can also use you can put two color icings in a bag and you will get a different a variegated look. So there's many things that you can do with the icing. Adding a second shade isn't about perfection. It's about creating movement and life. So you want your cakes to have uh, your decoration on your cake to have movement, and you also want it to have life. So we're going to take another commercial, and when we come back, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about those leaves and those fillers. Okay? Okay, so at the bottom you'll see the link for Soul Lady Wigs. That is one of my affiliates or sponsors, and I do come on from time to time, and I do wear. It's been so hot, I just have not been putting on my wigs, but I love my wigs. So in the wintertime, you'll see me a little bit with them. They're very good and warm, and they're so nice and full. Oh my God, they're just wonderful. Um, I cannot tell you just how much I enjoy those wigs. So if you're interested and then that's the link down there before. There, it'll send you straight to the wigs, and they always have sales. Now I'm going to tell you, they're pricey. They are very expensive, but they're well worth it, and they always have really, really nice sales. So while I'm here, I might as well let you know that I do go live on Instagram on Thursdays, and as well as on Facebook. Hold on. Sometimes I can't find it. Okay. So on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, I go live on Facebook with my jewelry, and you're more than welcome to come there. Only on Thursdays, and do I go live on Instagram, but I don't know how long that's going to last because they're changing some of the policies there, so I might not be able to go live there. I don't have enough followers there. So if you're on Instagram, please like and follow me on Instagram so I can continue to go live there. I don't know. I might still be able to stream. I haven't streamed in a while, but I will. If not, if I can't do it that way, I will stream it because I think I can still stream live as well. So also, you can go to the Jazzy Jewels collection as well uh, to view my jewelry that I do go live with on those days that I told you. I do have a shop, but you can also visit that on Anna's Lifestyles LLC.com. All of my things are up under that. And I just want to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that is it down there at the bottom. I have a lot to ask, don't I? But I do appreciate it. When people ask me, I always oblige because I know how it is. It's very difficult in trying to get started in doing anything you want to do. So my Facebook friends, if you're watching me out there on Facebook, you know that you can support me at facebook.com stars, enable those stars, and send me a few stars my way. I also want to let you know that as I talk about equipment and things that I used here with my cake design, that you can go to my store, which is an Amazon store, and it's Anna's Treasure OC-20. It does have hashtags add there because there is a disclaimer, and I must let you know that this is an ad. You don't have to purchase that from there. You can go anywhere and purchase, but you can also purchase there. It's sent straight to your doorstep. You just go in and key it in, and so that is the address to my store. I think that is it, y'all. I think that's all my housekeeping that I need to do. So we're going to go back to our presentation where we left off, and we left off. Let's see. We left off on. I think that's. Oh yeah, I'm in the right place. Coloring and blending and shading. Okay. So when we color, we want to use two tones for natural variation. So look at the top. Look at that picture. Do you see the variation color? They have used more than two tones. You have a dark purple, a light purple, a lighter purple with a little center. A lot of variations in there. It's enough variation that you think that those are natural flowers. The shading and highlights, how they shaded the flowers. Not all of the flowers are the same. I don't really think any of them are the same. And you can use one color and get several variations, you all. I just wanted to let you know, especially when you're using the gel coloring. And then you have the dark to the light colors on a petal. So all of these are things that can help you uh, in elevating your decorating skills. So when we talk about leaves, so leaves are greenery that frame the main flower. Small blossoms equal balance and flow. And a good tip is don't overcrowd. Less is more. So when you are placing your flowers on a cake, you remember we're going to always cluster them in odd numbers. So it's 5, 7, it's 9, etc. Now once you cluster them, before you have to mound them on the cake. And most people don't realize that you have to build a mound on top of the cake. And usually the mound is built with icing. And then you take scissors. We have what is called cake decorating scissors. I did not bring them with me today, but it's just a little plastic scissors that you stick up on there. You lift that flower up. And then you're going to place that flower down on that mound. Now, you don't want your flowers to be real close together, but you don't want them to be far, far apart either. So, but the places where you have the spaces, because everywhere you put those flowers, it has to be a mound, some type of mound of icing. So, where you have the spacing, and if you look at this picture here, you'll see where they have put leaves. That's where you're going to put those leaves. Wherever you have a space so it covers up, you never know that there was a space there. That's why it's called fillers. Okay? Do you see it in there? And I believe this one is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's one right there, 9. And then you have the leaves coming out in between here. Okay, let's move on. So we kind of learned a little bit about design principles. We talked about the balance, how you want to balance your cake, and how you want to place your flowers, where you want to put them. On a sheet cake, it's one end and then the other, the opposite. They're like opposite each other. And then you have your writing and all of those things on it. But on a round cake, it's a little different. Okay, you can either have, your flowers at the top of your cake, or like this one here has the flowers at the top of the cake. But however, this one here, let me go back, is on the side. Do you see that? This one here is on the side of the cake. Let's see. That's the same one I just showed you. But it's on the side. So there is a way, and that one's on the top. I don't know this thing. I don't know where this one is, but this one here is on the top. But then you can also put it as a swag, as they call it, and it goes drapes down along the side of the cake, which is like that, kind of like that blue one that I showed you at the beginning. And then you have what is called large versus small flowers. Now your small flowers can also be use is what we call fillers. So not only are you going to use your leaves, but you're also going to use small flowers as fillers. So you'll see in this diagram up here where they have used small fillers. If I go back, you'll see small little flowers there. Let me go back again so you can see. See, they're clustered all together, but they are flowered in between, and they use them fill. Look at the one. Remember what I told you here? Down here, these are flat flowers, but guess what they're doing? They're fillers. They're filling things in. So I wanted to go back because you can use all different types of filler. And then the last thing, most important, you want to have your cake should have a focal point where when you look at that cake, your eye goes to one flower. One flower on that cake just draws your eye to it. And most people, when they view a cake, that is what they see. They see that one eye that goes to the very focal point so that you know what it's all about. Now, I do have what is called a student call to action, y'all. So, I ask that you make one flat flower versus one layered flower and look at them and compare them. See how they are. Try shading petals with two tones. Try doing that. And you can get maybe the dusting powder and do that as well. You know, you don't just have to do it with the coloring, but try that. And I'm going to try this. I will demonstrate that the next time. So when I do a little demo for the K group, I will try to demo that. Also, build a mini arrangement. You know, like do one large, put some leaves in it, and then a few little fillers in it. Let me see, what else do I need to tell you? Tell you about the focal point. Okay. Now, I want to make something very clear to you, especially right here. Okay, because, and if you don't know, first let me tell you, I thought I remembered telling you how to make a practice board. But if I didn't, I'm going to tell you now. And it's just getting a piece of little cardboard, putting some wax paper on it. And you have your designs up under that wax paper so that you can put them, you can use your tips and do that. Now, if you are interested, I do have a practice sheet, and this practice sheet has, and you can put this up under your bigger design that you're going to make, and you will get this will help you in practicing, but you have to purchase, I mean, you have to not purchase, but you have to personal message me, and you can personal message me at my email, which is this here, info at Anna Lifestyles LLC. And what this does is just a raw ice and lesson 3 practice sheet thing. And it has like circles and scrolls and straight lines. But if you put this under the practice board with the parchment or the wax paper on it, you can keep practicing, and you can just wipe the icing and everything off. So if you're interested in this, by all means, reach out to me at info analifestyles LLC.com. I'll be glad to send you that information if you're interested in receiving that. All right, so here are some reflection questions to think about. What difference did you see in the depth when you're doing this and you're practicing? How comfortable are you with shading? And what will I practice before lesson number 4? So as you learn and as you go into deeper things with the icings, you will see that things change. and your icing is just going to change. You're going to change. Okay? So what will I practice before? What will I practice before lesson 4? I gave you that stuff on the practice sheets. So you want to make sure that you practice those items. If you're interested in that, remember to email me at info Anna's Lifestyle LLC so that you can make sure you get all of those things for you. So we are going to take a brief commercial, and then I will be back to give you a little summary of what I covered this evening, and I will probably see you next week. So here we go. All right, I'm back. I'm Anna. I'm the host of Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we come to you and we to inspire, to encourage, and to empower you to live a fulfilling and blessed life. So whether you are pursuing a career in cake design or wanting to have a bakery or anything, this um, program is for all. It is for the home baker as well as the business. I try to cover things that both the homeowner as well as the business can benefit from. So your key takeaway from this evening should be the layers. You remember I talked about layering. And also the shades, going through the shades and adding fillers and learning how to design with balance. We went from flat to fabulous. From flat to fabulous. So in lesson 4, what we're going to be doing is arranging, balancing, and shining, showing how we can make that flower just pop. You know what I mean? Just actually uh, pop. So with that being said, I am going to, I'm trying to look down here to see, but I'm going to have to say bid you farewell, but there's a few little things that I do want to let you know about. Hold on. Let me see if I can get to them real quickly. Hold on. Alrighty, we are back. I wanted to let everyone see that we are, there is going to be a summit in South Carolina. It is going to be October the 11th. We're going to be partying, y'all. I don't know about you, but I plan to be there. So if you're in the area or if you're interested in going, by all means, purchase a ticket. Purchase a ticket. The tickets are very modestly priced. General admission is $47, and look at all the things that's going to be discussed in this amount of time. So come out and meet these fabulous people and speakers. They are well known and in their field. Um, it, Michael Finley is a radio and television interviewer. Nikki Ziegler is about positive and Self-mold, and I believe Lee Williams is about wealth. He's a wealth person, and Dr. Mary Hancock has a lot to do with grant writing. So should be a lot of knowledge and a lot of past. Now, not to say anything about to forget about Dr. Tina Ramsey and and I always want to call her Dr. Michelle Green because that's what she is, a doctor as well. So it's really a nice event. So come on out, get your ticket. I understand that it's almost sold out. So if you want to go, I guess you better get your ticket. I'm not kidding. You better get them tickets. All right, so I'm going to bid you adieu. Just hold on a minute while I take us out of here.